Welcome back, you beautiful brave hearts. Today, this is called Doc Talk at Q&A, and I'm with the beautiful Lorraine from Alberta, Calgary, Alberta, actually. And as you can see behind me here on the slide, today we're going to be talking about pay the toll or cleanse the bowl. Now, we're going to be talking about the pelvic bowl. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to bring Lorraine on in just a minute, but think about this. The most important part of the human body is the pelvic bowl. And that's what we call the core. But for most, their core is on the floor. Oh no, it's not just on the floor. It's hanging down and out, or it's falling down and in. Oh, wait a minute. Guess what? Most people are actually what? Most people are actually rotten to the core. Did you know that? Most people are actually rotten to the core. Most people are rotting out. We're going to prove today, okay, we're going to talk about maybe around 20, probably 15 to 20 different signals. I don't even want to call them diseases anymore because there's no such thing as a disease. That was just made up by the medical system. And they make up the craziest names, don't they? Okay, all right. And most of them are Greek because, my God, you're just too dumb. You could never figure out how to look after your own body, could you? But then they can't figure out how to do it either. But they tell you they're always going to keep an eye on it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the main and the most important part of the human body, which is the pelvic bowl. Okay, and what's happening to that pelvic bowl is, guess what? There's a constant drip, 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 and it's overflowing. And then that pelvic bowl, it overflows. And what is that? It's called infection, inflammation. Okay, and that overflows and then goes into the rest of the body. Hi, Lorraine. How are you, sweetheart?
Hey, I'm doing great. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here and we got sunshine. It's nice.
In Calgary, Alberta, right?
Yes, in Calgary, Alberta. Yep.
Yes,
sunshine.
That's where Lorraine has her clinic, everyone. And your clinic is called what?
True Wellness Therapy.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can.
So what are we doing here? What are we doing here today, Lorraine? You want to tell them?
We are talking about how important the large intestine is and how we need to really honor that area of our body and supply it with what it needs to get moving. Because if you don't, you're going down.
So listen, guys, just asking you a question. Are you tired of pooping in your pelvis? Okay. All right. Would you like to shake it like Elvis? Let me tell you something right now. Take a look at everyone. They're limping or they waddle like a bloody duck. Okay. And I'm serious. I mean, the reality is I keep telling people, why don't you go and watch a video from 1920, 1930, 1950, 1960, right up till then. And you're going to see that everybody on the streets of New York, look at a video on the people right downtown New York. And it looks like they all came out of a gym and they're all lean and keen and muscle machines. Yes or no? It's the truth. Now, go and take a look at a video today, okay, today, down in New York City. And you can see that we are talking about the Walking Dead. They're unconscious, most of them, they are, and God love them, okay? Or they're overweight, which they're not overweight, they're just overinfected because we were infected here before we ever got infected here. Lorraine?
That's the truth. We want to be able to bring that fire down and, get back to what really works. Get back to what Mother Nature gave us. What are you bringing into the body? We're in such a toxic world right now. There's absolutely no way that we can become healthy just by eating really, really healthy. We can't. Because our bodies just can't keep up with the toxins that we are being bombarded with now. I mean, we're the highest educated generation yet, and we're the sickest generation. What's going on there?
Yeah, and the truth is this, we're not calling you down. We're calling you out to call you up. Because if you don't bring your vibration up, your vibration, your signals, create your frequencies create a field, and whether you're talking about the field within the cell or outside of the cell dictates what lives in you, okay, what grows in you. So let's talk about what's growing in some of the people. Why don't you start off, Lorraine?
Okay, so we're going to start with the large intestine disorders. The first one I have here is blood in stool. So rectal bleeding, symptoms of many different conditions. Some are serious, some not so serious. So hemorrhoids, sexually transmitted infection, constipation, colorectal cancer, those are kind of the things. Causes, digestive tract disorder, peptic ulcer, fissures, colitis, and the test that they would do would be like a barium test or some kind of an angiogram or a CT scan.
Okay.
Treatment would often be
Oh, everyone, just so you know, she's reading from the medical dialogue. Okay.
right.
Thank you.
That's right. This is what the medical people would do. They said that blood in the stool often stops on its own. Sometimes they need antibiotics, especially for H. pylori or surgery.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about this. So, yes, that's true. Bad bacteria, okay, will eat away at the lining, and if left long enough and strong enough, will actually cause an ulceration. So you can do antibiotics that'll go into the large intestine like an atomic bomb to kill those bad bacteria, but it'll also change the yeast into fungus, which then you're going to end up with what we call drill bit predators. When the yeast turns into fungus, it actually drills holes in your large intestine. And understand something, everybody. Everything has a vibration, and antibiotics have a vibration below zero. So guess what? They turn on what we call the death vibe, okay? And the death vibe is turning the yeast into fungus. They drill holes in you, and that's what you call leaky gut. And what you have is you have tight junctions in your intestine, and through inflammation and through decimation of antibiotics, because trust me, I would never take an antibiotic unless somebody said, you know what, you're on your deathbed. You're on your deathbed. Because antibiotics should only be used in life-threatening situations because they create them, and that's the God's truth. Do your own homework. So the reality is that anytime you do antibiotics, you're going to turn the yeast into fungus. The fungus is going to drill holes in you. That's what you call autoimmune disease or leaky gut. Now you're pooping into your bloodstream. Okay, now you're pooping into your pelvis. And you can get those same antibiotics from any animal products that are not free range and organic. Thank you very much. Because the antibiotics are just pumped into them daily, and that's called prevention. We're not going to get into that, but just realize that. So you're on antibiotics, whether you believe it or not. And if you drink milk, you eat cheese, you do yogurt, all of that stuff is garbage. You couldn't give me a yogurt factory for free, a milk factory for free, a cheese factory for free. Everybody has an inflammatory problem from that product, and that will cause inflammation, which will lead to ulceration, which will lead to the bleeding. And it can lead there. Now, I'm not going to say that with everyone, but just remember, stagnation causes putrefaction. Putrefaction causes a reaction from good bacteria to bad bacteria, and bad bacteria will then eat away at the lining. So yes, that's right. Now, if you're dealing with bright blood when you go to the bathroom, that's coming really close to the rectum anus. The darker it gets, the higher up the large intestine it is. And understand something, I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's I will never need surgery. I will never need antibiotics. Thank you very much. Because I have the world's most powerful antibiotics, which is called infinite iodine, and silver bullet gel that you can take orally, or silver bullet liquid that you can take orally. And I also have fulvic, and I have humic, and it's processed pure. And you can look those up yourself, but I will never need surgery. I will never need antibiotics. And that's the God's truth. Last time I ever took antibiotics was when I was living in Panama, and I was living in the rainforest in Panama, and there was a swamp not too far from me, and I got the dengue fever, and I didn't know it. And I got bit by a toxic mosquito, and I'll tell you, I lost probably about 8 pounds, and then I did take antibiotics only for a couple of days, and they were knocking the crap out of me. And you know what I did? I went, Daryl, wake the heck up. Wake up, Daryl. And what I did was I started slamming curcumin cayenne 5000, and I was doing 3 every hour. And then I also did a teaspoon of pure cayenne in 12 ounces of hot water 3 times a day. I knocked that out of me in only 4 days. Thank you very much. But the reality is I was going through some heavy duty emotional things in my life. And when you're going through heavy duty emotional things and the love of your life is like you're losing that person, you know, you beat yourself up. So I unconsciously didn't realize that, because I guarantee you if that mosquito would bite me today, even though it was a toxic mosquito, it wouldn't have had a chance to get in my pants like that and bring me down. And that's the truth. But understand something. So everything that you have going on in your intestines, okay, or in your body is infection that leads to inflammation that will finally lead to mutation if you don't have scar tissue and calcification to try to wall it in and to wall it from spreading. So understand that. And understand this. You do whatever you want. You go get surgery, go get drugs. But you might want to ask 3 opinions. You know, when I go and I get work done, okay, on my property, whether it's a plumber, carpenter, no matter who it is, I always get 3 opinions and I get 3 prices. And I see what type of quality and what type of design or what type of strategy are each of these people going to do. You want to go to one person? What if that guy's having a bad day that day? What if that person is narrow-minded? Listen, let me tell you something right now. I would always it's your body, get an opinion. For God's sakes, get an opinion. So let's go just quickly through those, Lorraine, and say them again, because that was a lot that could cause blood, okay? And understand something. If you want to get a barium X-ray, you better do one thing. And that's, you better be doing daily cleansing tea in black gold, and you better be drinking lots of warm to hot structured water, because you just filled your bowel up with cement. You heard what I said. And understand something. 50 years ago, the medical system was told to stop doing barium X-rays because they're more dangerous than the worth they have. Really? And understand something. Please don't get me wrong. You do whatever you want, but chemotherapy came from mustard gas, and there's only a 3% success rate with chemotherapy. Now, who in the heck would ever hire an accountant that only had a 3% success rate, that they were going to get the accounting right? Or you take your car to a mechanic and there's only a 3% success on that. So I'm just bringing that in because I'm telling you right now, when you come to us, I don't expect to be the only opinion, but just ask yourself if it's logical. Ask yourself too, if the practitioner just talked to you and explained things and everything sounded logical. And yes, of course I'm going to do that. And yes, here's all the dangers of doing that. Well, with us, there is no dangers, okay? Except if you believe that, you know, you're in a critical situation, then you go to emergency care, right? If you're in a critical situation, like life and death, go to emergency care. But if you've got a chronic illness and you go to emergency care, then you're going to even become more of an emergency, because you can't tell me that the medical system is even geared to handle chronic illness, because they're not. They can't handle chronic illness because all they're going to do is numb out your pain. And guess what? You numb out your pain, you're still inflamed, you're still infected, and guess what? Your body's still rotting away, okay? And most of that rot is occurring in the pelvic bowl. Lorraine?
Yes. Do you want me to go to the next one or read the blood?
No, read those and I'll just lightly say things, okay, about each symptom. Because guess what? There's no such thing as a disease. There's no such thing as a symptom. There's only such thing as a signal that your body's trying to tell you that you're not in alignment. And you, guess what? You have a rental and you don't know how to love it. You don't know how to care for it. And that's the bottom line. And that's 99%. 99 out of 100 people do not know how to love and care for the human body that they have been given, which is 50 trillion cells. Okay. And remember something, everybody wants no pain. Everybody wants lots of energy. But guess what? The more infection, the more pain, the more inflammation, the less energy you're going to have. And as that goes on, you're going to be in bed and then soon you'll be dead. And understand something. You don't have to be. Remember, there is 1.4 volts in every cell. There are 50,000 cells. So you have 700 volts when you are healthy and thriving. And when you're in bed and you're sick, You don't have that. Do you know what you have? You have maybe 150 volts. That's why you don't have energy. We are electrical magnetic beings. Thank you, Lorraine.
Okay. So the next one is bladder infection.
Well, bladder infection, the bladder sits right in front of the last 3 inches of the large intestine. So, you know what? What do we say, Lorraine? It's not what comes out, it's what stays in. And the longer it stays there, the more it gets rotten and putrefies to the point of bad bacteria that will eat away at the lining. And then you absorb that waste right through your actual intestinal wall. And guess what? Here's the intestine. Here's the bladder sitting here. And you're going to tell me that if your neighbor isn't pooping outside in his yard, it's not going to affect you? I mean, you know, your bladder, ladies, and your ovaries, your uterus, and men, your prostate and your bladder are all in the neighborhood. And understand that, okay?
Okay, so it affects both lower urinary, which is the bladder, and upper urinary tract, which is the kidneys.
Now, why would that be? Because guess what? It's called E. coli. Okay, you're going to find out that with like 95% of all bladder infections, you're going to find E. coli in there. E. coli came from the large intestine. It was never supposed to be in your kidneys, or was it supposed to be in your bladder? And then most people don't know that they don't drink enough water and they don't drink the right water, which is structured water. Okay, and that's the truth. And then you should be drinking warm to hot water if you've got a problem, because you want to melt the mucus that you created from the inflammation that was created by the infection, which was created by pooping in your pelvis.
And there is pain in the upper pubic area, pain when urinating, or maybe a burning sensation.
Well, the burning sensation is actually the acidity and the ammonia. Does everybody know that a manure pile gives off ammonia? I had an uncle that actually he passed out and he passed away because the ammonia was so high in his barn. Okay, it actually took him down. He might have had other circumstances. So if you have a manure pile sitting you, which most people do, why don't you take a look outside and take a look at the abdomen that's falling down and out. Look at the abdomen that's falling over top of the belt. Look at that means the large intestine is actually fallen down by, are you ready for this? 3 to 7 inches. That means that when your large intestine falls down, it's supposed to be transverse colons here, but then it falls down like this, and then we call it Death Valley. It has no tone. So now it's sitting on top of the small intestine and pushing down on top of your bladder, your prostate, your uterus, your ovaries, your fallopian tubes. How am I doing? So the reality is this: if you lack tone in your large intestine, which is a muscle, then it's going to leak. And they call that what? They call that what? Leaky gut. But it's not leaky gut, it's leaky large intestine. So you're going to get bladder infections and you're going to get kidney infections. It's just wherever the most sensitive point. And in the bladder, remember, you're taking in E. coli and you're taking in small microscopic poo particles. Yes, you are. Trapped protein particles that because of overeating animal protein and you didn't digest it, that goes through where the leaky gut is, right? Because they're called tight junctions. They come apart. That goes into your bloodstream. So the reality is that gets into your bladder. And now what happens is that sinks to the bottom of the bladder and it irritates the lining of the bladder and the bladder shuts down. So you feel like you always have to go to the washroom and then drip, drip. Only a few drops come out or a little bit comes out. I get up 4 times a night and I just feel like I got to pee. I'm irritated. And then when I go, it's just drip, drip, drip.
That was my next statement. It said frequent or urgency, even when the bladder is empty.
So if I can say this, everyone, that urgency is just an inflammation. And understand something. We know that 47 to 49% of all women are dripping into their panties, urine, almost every day. And the reality is they're doing it because the actual valve that shuts off the urine, okay, is calcified and it can't shut down all the way. It's like a rusty valve. So you have a dripping tap in the kitchen. Well, guess what? You go, You got a dripping tap in your pelvis.
And the causes, like you mentioned, bacteria getting in the urethra. Catheters can cause that problem.
Oh,
Urinary.
for God's sakes. You know what? If you have to put a catheter, okay, inside of you, you're going to create more inflammation, more infection, more scar tissue formation. You know, the guy that has to stick, okay, the catheter into his penis, for every day it's there, he is getting closer to never have a natural urination again. And you better get that. So you want to go the medical route, you go the medical route, but you better find somebody, okay, that knows more than Inky Dinky Schnitzelhaus and is going to go in there and know how to get rid of the scar tissue and the inflammation, okay, out of your prostate area, out of your bladder area, and then actually get the scar tissue out of your penis. Because every time you put a catheter into the penis, you're actually creating irritation, inflammation, scar tissue formation, and pretty soon calcification. That sucker's going to shut right off.
Okay.
And remember something, the more that you're peeing into a bag, your body goes, well, I guess I'm not needed. You know, it's like the person, right? I mean, today, guess what? I wish I would have invested into a cane factory. And I don't mean like a candy cane, okay, or a walker factory or electric scooters. My God, you know, in Florida, I think I'm going to get run over with an electric scooter. I'm almost scared to go out. Listen to me. I'm telling you right now that once you start relying on things to keep you up or to help you stay up, okay, or a scooter or anything, unless you move it, you lose it. What do you think, Lorraine?
Exactly. We've got to take that massive personal action. Another cause, it says urinary stints, diabetes, pregnancy.
Okay, but a urinary stint, you got to remember something. It's like having a heart stint. You know how they have to put valves back in to open up the area. And just know this, please don't take this wrong. But if you were to come to us, it would take us approximately anywhere from 20 to 35 days to actually reverse 93% heart blockage. All right. Did you hear what I just said? Between a cardio med bed, between the perfect day diet, or doing an advanced water fast, which tomorrow we're coming on tomorrow, right, Lorraine? And this is a full, guys, bite it off in pieces. It's going to be going into my library. Okay. It's going to go into the library and it's going to go into the fasting guide. Okay. All right. It's going to go into the 6-day advanced water fasting guide, but it's going to be 4 to 4.5 hours long. And the reality is we're going to give you more life-saving, most powerful life-saving technique that you could ever do in your life. And it's called advanced water fasting, not water fasting. So if you want to check us out tomorrow, we'll be on at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right, Lorraine?
That's right. That's right. With bells on.
With bells.
Okay. Treatment for bladder infection, antibiotics.
Okay, just know this, you can go ahead and treat it. You know, you're not going to do too much damage to the bladder. You might even be able to bring down the infection, but guess what? The only reason why you had the infection in your bladder, okay, let me tell you, unless you took a physical blow to that area, then we know it'll heal. The only other reason why you have problem in your bladder is because you're pooping in your pelvis. It's all about the E. coli. It's all about the infectious bacteria, the fungus. It's all about the things. It's all about the microscopic poo particles that weren't supposed to enter the body that are going to go through your kidneys and then enter into that bladder. So that's the bottom line. Go take antibiotics and knock the living crap right out of your large intestine, which is 85% of your immune system, because you just knocked the crap out of your bacteria, your good bacteria, and you actually injured them, or you actually killed them off. Okay. All right. You might have killed some of the bad ones. Just remember something though, everybody. The environment dictates what lives there, whether it's bad bacteria, parasites, or fungus. You need to get that. So, you know, you create your environment by the signals that you put in and into your body. And those signals are decided on your thoughts, okay, on what you drink and what you eat. And do you even know about cleansing? Do you know about keeping the portals open?
Probably not. Okay, so our next one is anal boils. So they're an abscess or a pus-filled cavity that forms in the furrows of the anal canal.
And guess what? We're talking about dead bacteria and we're talking about pus. The dead bacteria is your body getting rid of the bad bacteria and it's dying off, okay, or it's building up. And the pus is actually created from the what? Infection because of the stagnation. When you've got, oh, but I go to the washroom. It's not what comes out, it's what stays in. And guess what? How many people feel like if they needed to grunt or groan, there's just a little bit more that can come out? How many days has it been in your life? How many weeks? How many months? How many years have you grunted and groaned or thought, God, there's just a little bit more that could come out? Well, you've got a whole manure pile in there. And guess what? That sits in there, okay? And what happens is infection creates inflammation, and then the body makes too much mucus because everywhere there's a mucus lining protecting so that the right things get absorbed through the intestinal wall and the wrong things are supposed to not. But when you've got inflammation, you're burning off the mucus lining and protection, and your body's going, we got to make more. But what if there's so much infection, there's so much inflammation, you can't keep up with the mucus production. Okay, so now you've got mucus and bad bacteria, and now you've got what we call a boil. And this would be similar to what we would call an ovarian cyst or a cyst anywhere else in the body. All cysts are pustules, okay, of mucus and bad bacteria. And those little, would you rather have rectal cancer or boils? Which one? I'll leave it with you. And understand something. Your body's boiling over from the inflammation. And guess why we get boils? Because we can't let go of that emotional SHI. You know what? You know what? You can't let go. Most constipated people, they can't let go of stuff until all of a sudden the body gives them diarrhea because the body says, I got to blow out physically here. Just like a whale will blow out the top of its, that hole, it's going to blow out at the bottom of your hole because that infection could cause inflammation and all the way to mutation. Lorraine?
Okay, so symptoms generally first recognized because of a dull, throbbing pain in the anus or rectum, often accompanied by
Okay, but 1 sec. Why would you have a throbbing pain?
something swelling.
Because you have a blockage. If you don't have flow, the energy is going to hit the wall, and the wall is going to be, could be exactly the boil, which is a scar tissue issue, isn't it? Because that's what a boil's made out of. So, and that's the socket that it's in. So remember, wherever you feel pressure in your body, like a heartbeat, that means that that area has got a physical block of calcification, crystallization, or scar tissue formation. Or you could be out of alignment, and that could do it too, right? Okay.
It says, when touched, the lump will usually be tender, red, and warm.
Yeah, well, the reality is if I had any of these problems, I would definitely be looking at the Daily Cleansing Tea, Black Gold. I'd be looking at the Ultimate Coffee Enema. And if we're finding things that are sitting near the back door, then we need to do what we call a CBD bullet. And we have the what's called CBD bullets, okay? And they're 250 milligrams, and you put that into the rectum. And if it's not too painful, the situation, you can actually use a rectal vibrator, okay? So you put the CBD bullet in, then you lubricate the rectal vibrator and you put that in and put it on low. The vibration will create more blood flow and heat up in that CBD bullet. And if you did that 3 times a day, and you can also do vaginal infusions into the rectum, okay? Men can do it as well. and then look at the perfect day diet. And if I was in big trouble, I'd be looking at doing an advanced water fast, or at least a juice fast, okay? And then doing the ultimate coffee enema, doing the daily cleansing tea, doing the black gold, and doing the vaginal infusion if I was a woman, and rectal infusion if I was a man. But I'd also do the CBD bullets. All of that area needs that. I would also be trying to do pelvic squats, right, to try to open up the area. I'd also be doing light clapping on the groin and the pubic area. Anything else that you would say, Lorraine?
Well,
You could do a castor oil pack too if you wanted.
yes, yeah, a castor oil pack on the lower abdomen,
Yeah.
right in that area there. And
Yes.
maybe even on the anus.
Yes.
to help
But really, the CBD bullets and with the rectal vibration, if it's not too painful, because it really brings up the flow. I'm telling you that we have people that, men that have prostate problems, they can't even hardly walk anymore. It's so painful. And once they start doing the CBD bullet, and you have to order those, and those are, you'll find our Canada warehouse has those. And, but you put the CBD bullet in you, and then you turn on the vibrator, and you'll find out, okay, you might, oh my God, it's a little sore going in, but just turn it on low. And I'm telling you, within minutes, you're going to go, oh my God. Because see, what people don't understand is they think that because if they have inflammation and pain, that they have increased circulation. They don't. It's decreased circulation. It's being blocked. Once you increase the circulation and you bring it back to where it needs to be, there is no pain. There is no blockage. And if you want to get it out of there, you want to heat up the area, not through inflammation, but through circulation, and then we win. Lorraine?
Yeah, exactly. So
just understand something, everyone, and I say this in the best way. I got involved in actually bowel problems when I was 17 with my grandfather who got colon cancer. I was a certified colon therapist at the age of 19. Understand something. I'm going to be 67 years old. If I don't know what to do, then I don't think anybody does. I'm not telling you I'm smart. I'm telling you I put my time in. You put your time in, you study. I've taken health to levels that most people have never, ever seen before in their life. I mean, we bring the thunder down, don't we, Lorraine?
you bet. This stuff works. I've been in alternative health probably for about 20 years before I met Daryl. And when I started his products, they blew me away how well they worked. Because I was searching for myself first, because I had heavy metals and I just couldn't get them to move very much. And man, the first thing I tried was the black gold, and I have a biofeedback machine. So I was testing every once in a while to see how things were working. And it blew me away how well it worked. Just amazing. So all of these products go beyond what anything else does. And part of that is because they are high vibrational. So when we can be using high vibrational things, it helps to raise the vibration of the body also, right? And we get healthier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's the next signal? Not what's the next symptom, not what's the next condition, not what's the next disease. What's the next signal that your body's giving you? And remember something, the more chronic, the more painful, the longer you've had it, okay? And the worse you are to yourself. Those two things, the longer you have it, okay, or the worse you are to yourself. And understand something, most people don't understand that they're running a hate program for themselves. And most people don't understand that that's been programmed into you from the minute you entered the womb, okay? And understand that. And so who's going to end the family curse here? All right, Lorraine?
Yeah. What legacy do you want to leave for your family? You've got to start something. You've got to start somewhere.
Yeah, don't become a lady, become a legend.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So our next symptom is Crohn's. So it's inflammation of the bowel.
Well, or the small intestine, it can be there too.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's called lead pipe disease because guess what? It's a pitting in the intestines. And what happens is so much inflammation and continual irritation causes so much scar tissue formation. And that's why it's called lead pipe disease. And the reality is guess what? There's some deep, okay, you're not going to like this, but there's some deep hate that that person has for themselves. They're eating themselves from the inside out. Crohn's disease. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people with Crohn's disease, and don't you just love it? You know, M&M Meats, they do a celebration for the Crohn's Society and the Colitis Society. And do you know what they do? They supply all the burgers and the wieners, okay, all right, at the barbecue. And then all of the people go home that night and they just get twisted. Now think about how corrupt and sick this planet is, but think how dumbed down we are that you're actually going to go to a fundraiser that M&M Meats, okay, actually supports, and everybody can eat all the hot dogs, okay, GMO hot dogs, GMO buns, and all the meat with the antibiotics in it to go into the intestines so that we can just create more Crohn's and colitis. I'm going to tell you something. 99% of the population, okay, all right, they not only don't know about health, they've been programmed to knock themselves out and off, inside out.
So, and then it says you're gonna you get abdominal pain, you can have diarrhea.
Well, you got we got to go a little slower. Abdominal pain is just the inflammation. Where there's inflammation, there's irritation. And just as when you're in pain, you curl up. Do you know what happens when you're in pain? Those cells in that area, they contract and the cell outside wall gets thicker. So then you don't pick up any, frequencies or communication. And inside the cell, it becomes calcified around the mitochondria. So now you're making less energy, but it also becomes a swamp in there. Okay, so that's a big problem. So the longer you have the inflammation, the more you have the pain, the more that's going on. And the cell's getting thicker to try to protect itself against an invader. Well, that would be you on a psychological level, because believe it or not, Crohn's disease is mainly emotional. Okay, because there's people that eat the same as the person with the Crohn's disease, and all they do is burp and fart. And that's the truth.
It also creates diarrhea.
Diarrhea is only caused in a Crohn's patient because guess what? If we don't get rid of this rotten fecal matter, okay, there's not going to be just inflammation. There's going to be mutation. So call out all the water that we can from the other parts of the body, and let's get rid of this stool now. And so now, guess what? You're able to poop through the eye of a needle at 30 feet.
It also causes fever.
Well, guess what? Guess what? Remember the boil? That person who had the boil, well, guess what? Their whole lower body's in fever. And that's why they're boiling over, baby. Now listen to this. You have a fever here because guess what? Your blood heats up to try to burn the infection off. All you had to do was the ultimate coffee enema. Okay, all right, that's all you had to do. And even better still, start off with a warm water, structured water enema with black diamond in it. Okay, all right, and do that one first, and then do the ultimate coffee enema, and that fever would be gone in 10 minutes. Am I lying, Lorraine, or am I telling the truth here?
Oh, that's one of the things you need to be doing. That ultimate coffee enema is amazing. It's more about supporting the liver than it is about clearing the large intestine. And yeah, you will knock your socks off after you do that because you feel so much better. The next thing is abdominal distension.
Well, guess what, guys? Abdominal distension. Well, that's a fart attack. It can't get out. because your bowel is twisted like some racetrack and you've got adhesions that are wrapped around it and you're in a chokehold. Okay, remember something. If I got a fart, all right, and depending on where the fart's being created in the large intestine, because that's where the fart comes from, is the large intestine, which is 5 to 7 feet, right? Let me just do something here. So here's the large intestine right here. I don't know if you can see it really well, but here's the large intestine. So if that fart was actually created in the cecum, which is the beginning of the large intestine, then the fart's got to go up. That's not bad. The fart can go up. Hot air rises. And then guess what happens? Okay. Then what happens is it's got to get around this corner. But what if your large intestine is a prolapsed transverse colon and it used to be up here and it fell down here? That fart would have to come downhill. I don't know how bubbles go downhill very well, but that's why you have to go on all fours, put your head down on the ground, stick your butt up in the air, because you want that fart to come back, because now the fart can climb up. So now once the fart climbs up, keep working it over, get it. Now you got to go around this corner, which is called the splenic flexure. It's a tight corner. And then it's got to come down and it's got to come all the way out. But if you can't get that fart out, really work your thumb pad right here in your thumb area. And guess what? It'll help move that fart out. It really will. Okay. But anyways, so distension, oh my God. Did you ever see Santa? It looked like he ate the biggest beach ball on the beach. And the reality is what is that beach ball filled up with? Air. Where does the air come from? Well, that is gas that comes off of what we call endobacterium, which is bad bacterium. And when they fart, they stink like bad. They'll burn your hoe on the way out. Okay. And if they come up this way, that's called halitosis. And anybody that has any of these disorders that we talk about today has parasites, has worms. So you better believe it. All these orders, you've got parasites. Okay. And the distension is, I'll tell you, if you don't believe me, okay, next time you see somebody that looks like they're really distended in their abdomen, and not hanging down, that they've got gas, but they've got no tone in their colon or their intestines, and it's falling down and out. So the guy that's sticking straight out, you're going, holy mackerel, that looks tight. Just walk by him with a pin and just give it a little poke, and guess what? He'll fly all over the mall. He is so full of it. And understand, where do you think most of these men go? Did you know that, and I didn't make this up, okay, over 95% of all men rushed to the hospital because they thought they were having a heart attack was only a fart attack. And it was the gas that was created by their ASS. And guess what? That gas, okay, rises just like a hot air balloon, and it puts pressure on the heart. And then as soon as they get stressed out, they have what's called angina, and they think they're having a heart attack, but they're having a fart attack. And then they go to the doctor and they find out no. And he says, no, you just had angina, and you really need to not stress out so much. Well, it would be really great if you were to maybe dump about 20 pounds of fecal waste that's rotting inside of you too, and so that you can get rid of the gas that isn't rising up, that's putting pressure on your lungs and putting pressure on your upper back. Okay.
So the next thing that it causes is weight loss due to loss of appetite.
We're talking about Crohn's now.
Yeah, we're still on.
Actually, who wants to eat when every time they eat, they're on fire? I can't eat anything. I can't eat anything. And then guess what? They start eating things that are not good for them, but it doesn't set the inflammation up. But now they become malnourished and acidic. You get it? And that's what happens. So I'm not going to tell somebody with Crohn's disease to go eat salad. I'm going to tell them that they have to have steamed vegetables, but I'm not even going to tell them that. I'm going to tell them that they need to do broth. I'm going to tell them that they need to do diluted organic juice vegetables, because they can't even take that in a concentrate. It's too much energy. These people have such low vibrational energy. Remember something. Remember the last time, Lorraine, that you felt sick and you were sick for a long time? Were you just bubbly and someone that everybody wanted to be with? Or did you were going lower and lower and lower and lower and thought that you'll never get out of this, I'm probably going to die, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, you can't have that attitude because that's not altitude. You're in a nosedive. So the more that your personality crashes, the more your immune system crashes. So you have to be your best cheerleader. So you don't want to be around other victims. You don't want to go to some kind of health professional that's going to tell you that it's the end of the world as we know it because they know nothing about health. So there's the problem. And understand this, anybody that's been diagnosed with colitis or Crohn's, they're in pain. And guess what they want? They want out of pain and they want drugs, baby. And then they take the drugs and then the drugs make them feel sick. And then they get more constipated. Okay. And then they get more lethargic. And then guess what? They have on and off diarrhea. So they can't even leave the house. They have no social life left anymore. They're wearing Depends. And that's at an early age as well. So it's off and on, constipated today, diarrhea tomorrow, because it's like the volcano has to blow. And guess what? Because the body's not getting the support it wants, its only valve is to give them diarrhea because it's got to lower the toxic load. Okay, you go find me somebody with colitis and Crohn's and has had it for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and I'll give you somebody that hasn't hardly changed their diet, or they played Inky Dinky Schnitzel House with some practitioner, and they've got probably 3 to 5 different drugs. And drugs don't heal. There's not a drug that heals. There's not a drug that heals. There's chemicals and hormones that heal because our brain is a pharmacopoeia. But the reality is there's no drugs outside the body that you take internally that are going to heal. They're going to numb you out. They're going to give you temporary comfort. Okay. Find me a person that went on heavy duty medication or any medication and was on it for more than 10 days that wish they never started it.
Yeah. Yeah. So this may result in things like anemia.
Anemia, well, you're going to get anemia because guess what? Does anybody know you get anemia because your good bacteria are mainly bad? Because whether you're talking about anemic oxygen-wise or iron-wise, it's all dependent on the bacteria in your large intestine. Go figure.
Yeah. Skin rashes.
Yeah. Skin rashes. Well, the skin you're in is a reflection of the health of your large intestine. And people say to me, oh my God, you have such nice skin, Dr. Wolf. Yeah, well, you should see my bowel, baby. Okay.
Mouth sores.
Mouth sores, whether you want to believe this or not, guess what? The mouth gives you the symptoms of how your back door is doing. People don't have gum disease. They have bum disease. If they've got cankers in their mouth, they've got boils in their butt. You can believe it or not believe it. If you've got bad breath, you don't have bad breath. Bad breath is bum breath. Go to the next time that somebody has bad breath, you smell it. It either smells like pepperoni and soap, which is fungus, or if it's more on the poop side, it smells like a manure pile. So it's either that. It's either pepperoni, mainly a pepperoni smell, okay? The pepperoni soap smell comes out of the skin, okay? That is kind of like pepperoni soap smell. You know, that person is fungus everywhere. The pepperoni smell from the mouth is fungal in the large intestine, and it's gassing off. It's a truth. And then the other one is, wow, honey, you've been sticking the brush in the wrong end, girl.
Kidney stones is another thing.
Well, kidney stones are just calcium stones. Why don't they call them calcium stones? Why don't they call them calcium stones in your kidneys? Now, why would you lose enough calcium from your bones to actually have stones? Okay. The reason why is because your kidneys are inflamed because of the endobacterium and the other bad bacteria that are actually like the E. coli and all the fungus that's coming from your large intestine, because now you're pooping in your pelvis because you got leaky gut, because you're like a screen door in a submarine, and all of that is going into the kidneys. Now, if the kidneys are inflamed, what is the kidneys going to call on? They're going to call on what? Calcium. They're going to call on calcium because calcium is alkalining. It's going to buffer down the tissues in the kidneys to try to stop inflammation heading towards mutation. And now guess what? Now you got kidney disease. And once you get kidney disease, people will tell you, well, there's no turning back. Well, there is. You just got to know what you're doing. And doctors will say that you can't drink water. Well, if you don't drink water, you're toast. And the reality is, it's got to be the right water. And you got to know how to drink the water, and you got to do it. And understand something. Your kidneys, when you have kidney disease, it's like your kidneys became an old man or old woman, and they're like limping along. But are you going to tell me that we can't reverse that? That we can't bring back the tone? We can't bring back the circulation? Well, with a Cellsonic, we can. With a cardio med bed, we can. With non-surgical, we can. And with the right diet, we're going to do it. And that's it. Okay, first of all, anybody with a chronic illness, first thing you want to know, and it's not about being nasty. What do you have to live for? Do you actually want to live? No, I don't. You know, I'm telling you right now that people that have a chronic critical situation, 1 out of 3 always say they don't want to live, and the family's pushing them. Or they say that, what do I have to live for? I don't have enough energy to live. And I'm going, well, if you could visualize that you had enough energy and that you were out of pain, would it be worth living? So that's where you take them. You just go, okay, well, fine. If you don't want to live, then I'm out of here. No, we don't do that, because it's got to change your mind. It's got to take that landmine and make it into imagination creation. So, you know, whether you got to put Post-it notes all over the walls everywhere and get rid of all of the victims in your family away from you, and get rid of people that do not understand it. You need to take massive personal action and self-care and self-love. What do you think, Lorraine?
Yes, that's so important, that the emotional work is the one that's going to make or break you. You know, we've got to put the attention on there. We've got to do all 4 pillars. And most people will do the diet. Some people will do nutraceuticals. Some people will get into exercise. But that emotional one is the one that nobody wants to touch.
And here's the stickler, Lorraine. Am I right or wrong? Because you can talk from experience. So can I. If you're trying to save your life, okay, and you've got to make drastic changes, if the rest of the people that you live with, love, do not do it, are you going to do it?
It sure makes it a lot harder, that's for sure. So you're better off.
Isn't it something that, you know, all we're teaching a person to do is do what they should have been taught in the first place, and nobody else wants to do it because they're not on their deathbed yet, or they're not crapping their pants that life is just going to get worse.
Yeah, exactly. So you are you've got to be your own practitioner, your own cheerleader, you've got to learn how to love these beautiful bodies back to health, body, mind, and spirit. And the spirit is the most important. It just is. Feed the spirit and the body heals every single time.
Everybody, please take a look at downloading pdgfreefree.com. That's Rafa. Can you put that up, please? pdgfree.com. That's the perfect day guide. You can download it. Go there and download it. Start reading it. You know what? Why don't you give life a chance? Why don't you give love a chance? Why don't you give self-love a chance? That would be really cool. Lorraine, next. What do you think?
Yeah, this protocol changed my life. I can't express the difference. It's night and day difference, the way I view life and do life compared to where I was. And looking back, I know when I looked at myself, I compared myself to other people, and I thought I was doing good. And I was 40 pounds.
Well, you were doing good.
I just wasn't, but I wasn't thriving. And I was at that point, I was done surviving. Let's get this done. I'm finished. I don't want to just do that. I want to be so happy, free, abundant, absolutely everything. And that's the difference. You get to thrive. You get your life back. You get to decide how you're going to do that life, how you're going to react. And you're You're the one who does it. Nobody else does it. Everybody's looking for the outside things. And yes, sometimes we need to use outside things to help raise the frequency or the vibration of the body. But it's you and this thing here that plays the biggest part.
Food will never raise your vibration up high enough, strong enough, quick enough. Okay. And you better get that, people. And you know, you can think what you want, always just after trying to sell us his products. Well, guess what? You'll have to learn the hard way, because food's not going to do it. You know, coming up against blue light, coming up against 5G, coming up against all the chemicals, the chemtrails, coming up against the glyphosate. Okay. I'm not going to keep going with it, guys. I'm just trying to tell you that everything is vibration, everything is frequency. And if you think you're going to get it from the supermarket sells the worst crap in your life. It may look like a vegetable, fruit, but you know, you need to understand that if you are not investing part of your money into high vibrational nutraceuticals and proper forms and strategies of detoxification, it's just like, you know what? Everybody's talking about parasites now, and do a parasite cleanse, do a parasite cleanse. Let me tell you, you can do a parasite cleanse to bring down the load, but they're going to come right back, because what came first, the swamp or the mosquito? Okay, the swamp, then the mosquito. What came first? Low integrity tissue, then the parasite, then the fungus, then the bad bacteria, and then it was a parasite party. That's it. That's it. And understand something, when Lorraine was talking about thriving or surviving, I am not putting down anybody, especially breast cancer situations. But understand, how many women, Lorraine, will call us up and go, I'm a 3-time cancer breast survivor. And I'm going, and this is where they sit back and go, oh my God. I go, are you proud of that? And they go, yeah, I beat it 3 times. And I go, really? You shouldn't have had to beat it once. And you shouldn't beat anything. You shouldn't try to kill the cancer. You shouldn't try to beat the disease. What about just loving and caring for yourself? And if you knew how to do that and created a perfect day from the moment you rise until you close your eyes, you wouldn't have to be a 3-time, 2-time, 1-time. You'd be all the time lover. Okay.
And we get to decide how we do that. You know,
Yeah.
we get to decide. What do you like Daryl said earlier, what do you have to live for? That it's really important. If you can't figure out that, or if you're living because you need to help your kids or your spouse, that's not a reason for you to be living. You need to find that reason.
Yeah, if you don't have a passion and purpose, you've got a due date.
Yeah. Okay, are we going to get back to Crohn's here?
I don't know, are we?
I still got more to tell you.
You're the one that keeps going off track and won't be quiet. I'm kidding.
It could cause inflammation of the bile ducts.
Well, the inflammation is going to spread everywhere, right? It's a fire. If anybody understood anything about inflammation, you'd understand that the first part of the word, break it up, inflame. You're burning up your body. So, you know, it'll cause inflammation. It'll spread like a fire right through your body until it eats you up. And with a fire, you're burning up the oxygen. And if you burn up 35% of the oxygen in any area of the body, and it lasts for at least 3 days, guess what? You've got mutation. They call it cancer, but we don't call that cancer. We just call it stage 4 inflammation. And you're just burning up enough oxygen that the cells are going, there's not enough oxygen. We're gasping here. So let's just live off the lactic acid and the crappy diet this person's on. The flour, the sugar, the dairy, everything that creates inflammation that causes lactic acid. But what about all the sugars? And what about all the sugars that are hidden even in all these natural products? And understand something, everybody. Just know this, those of you that are eating things that say natural flavoring, that's total chemical. That is, if I were to say natural flavoring on any of my products, because I'm not a big pharma, not a pharmaceutical company. If I were to say natural flavoring on any of my products and I were to use artificial flavors, do you know what kind of trouble I'd get into? I'm not going to do that. I'm just trying to tell you that they can say natural flavors and they're not natural flavors. They're telling you that it tastes just like a natural flavor, and all they are is tip of the tongue enhancers. They're to create a bliss point. So when you put the food in your mouth, oh my God, wow, the flavor turns your brain on. And then as it passes just the front of your tongue and starts to head back, there's no flavor. And guess what that means? It didn't last long enough for you to have a joy. So now you got to go and bet you can't eat just one. Okay.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
also can cause arthritis. So like you said, it's spreading.
There's no such thing as arthritis. It's only inflammation of the joint, because if you got inflammation long enough, your tendons, your ligaments, okay, and the cartilage, okay, become like beef jerky. Go chew on that for a while and tell me if I'm wrong.
It also says inflammation of the eye.
Guess what, guys? That's why you have all the eye disorders. Blue light is one of the best things for inflammation of the eye, but you don't have inflammation of the eye with blue light first. You've got inflammation of the brain. But if you have inflammation or if you stress yourself out, you'll lose your eyesight. If you stress yourself out, you'll lose your hearing, because you go ahead and burn your brain up and stress yourself up and live in fear and find out how, guess what? The eyes and the ears, okay, and the nose, okay, they are actually, okay, sensory. They pick up things. And the more that they get inflamed, the less they pick up things, the less you sense things.
And it causes fatigue.
Well, fatigue.
Oh my gosh.
Lack of oxygen, everyone. Okay, all right. Oh my God, I'm so exhausting.
And then it says, currently, no cure.
Okay, well, there's never going to be a cure until there is a product. So there's got to be a drug. And the reality is currently no cure. Well, first of all, I got to tell you something. The only cure is you. The only cure is finding a perfect day that you're honoring, loving, and respecting your body. But that cure will only last until you start disrespecting your body. All right, so if you don't understand how the mind works, and that you were programmed from the minute you entered the womb, and that you only went to a Rockefeller school so that you could become a little robot. Oh yeah, you're doing well. You're doing well compared to other people. I get it. But the reality is you're never going to do that well, because we're all programmed to be slave robots, and that's it. And now they just want robots because guess what? At least they can get the job done. And whether people believe this or not, this is not about this, but you better start thinking about this. Mom and dad, don't tell people to get into computers anymore. You know what? Just know this, if a robot can do it, you're out of a job. If a robot can do it, you're out of a job. And then don't complain, because that's where it's going. If a robot can do it, a robot can't do what we're doing. They can't do emotional, nutritional consultations. They can't do, couples counselings. They can't do teenage interventions. Good luck with that. Okay. They can't show people how to detox from the symptoms they're getting because they're out of alignment properly. They can't get in touch with that. The reality is, I'm not telling you to become a whole life health coach or a Wolf non-surgical therapist. I'm telling you, get smart and know this, that, and I know I'm off track, we'll come right back on. Okay, 500 million people are going to lose jobs this year because of that. And whether you believe this or not, within the next 5 to 7 years, 30% of the population will be without a job because of that. And just, I'm not telling you that I made this up. These are stats, and it's going to happen. Okay, so think about where the human experience isn't going to be thrown in the garbage can, and then figure out your passion and purpose and then go for it.
Okay, so the medical treatments, would be medications like steroids.
Steroids, if you take steroids, you will numb out the pain and everything. And within 2 years, that tissue that they actually injected into is actually going to be decomposing.
Anti-inflammatory medications.
Well, anti-inflammatory means that you're going to shut down the inflammation, but do you really? You don't really, you suppress it deeper into the body. Okay, that's what you're doing. Because guess what? Whether you believe this or not, the inflammation is actually your healing. So you shut down your healing. And if you knew how to heal, the inflammation wouldn't last. Thank you.
Biologics, and it said they're done by IV or shots. So I wasn't 100% sure what that meant.
Well,
Maybe vitamin
it's drugs again, but it's stronger. So the reality is you go to your general GP to get numbing out medication, and then you go to more life-threatening medication that'll knock your socks off to a specialist.
Okay, and then antibiotics.
We talked about that.
And stem cell treatment.
Now, stem cells, guess what, guys? You can believe it or not believe it, but this isn't us. But on a 6-day advanced water fast, okay, we will actually create, you could, if you want, you can go pay for it. Your body will actually create $100,000 worth of stem cells in a 6-day advanced water fast, which we are going to be talking about tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and it will be a 4 to 4.5 hour talk. And the reality is you're not here to be entertained, because those people who want to be entertained can't last more than 20 minutes. These will be people that are practitioners. These will be people that never want to ever be part of the majority or a statistic. Because if you do an advanced water fast, you'll change your personality, you'll change your whole biological makeup. And that's it. You'll bring the thunder down. Stem cell making, autophagy. You will find more out about yourself. You'll be a lean, keen, sexy machine. And if you are ill, you can do an advanced water fast every 6 weeks and do one for 6 days and then go back. So what we're going to teach tomorrow is we're going to show you, tomorrow we kick it off. You do what's called 2 weeks of the perfect day whole plant-based keto diet. And that's just a high vibrational diet that I live on and that most people live on that are really healthy. Okay. And I live on it. Okay. Remember something. I think I'll go on a diet. Yeah. How many diets you've been on? And you don't go on a diet. You're looking for a live it. And if you understood diet, you would understand the first part of the word is DIE. So there's a clue there. Okay. So what we want to do is 2 weeks of the whole plant-based keto diet. And then we're going to go into the 6-day advanced water fasting, and you will not have a healing crisis. On our protocol, if you do what we ask you to do, you will bring the thunder down. You will get rid of the worst diseases that are uncurable, by the way, but they are uncurable for human beings, but not uncurable for that God-given creation called your body. Lorraine?
Absolutely. You know, we get a cut and we don't question the fact that it's going to heal. It's everything else we question. And my question to you guys out there is, why do we do that? Why does the cut on your finger heal and nothing else does? Like, that makes no sense. These bodies were created beautifully and they know how to heal. The problem is we don't know what to give the body so that it can heal. And in this world, you know, we know we're in this highly toxic world. We've never, the world has never been so.
It's not toxic if you know how to create your own environment. If you buy into the majority BS that everybody buys in, then guess what? You've never lived in a more poisonous, dangerous environment in your life. But would you say that my life is toxic? Do you say where I live is toxic? Do you think what I do is toxic? So we can't say that the world's toxic. We can say that the world has bought into toxicity. Right, Lorraine?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Exactly it. When you know how to take care of your body responds perfectly and it deals with it.
We think we have no choice. Lorraine, do you have a choice?
Yes, I do.
Lorraine, do you have a picture of yourself 5 years ago?
I'd have to do some searching to find one now.
I
But
bet you burnt them. You burnt them, didn't you?
somebody, yeah, yeah. Don't need that reminder. No,
So look at what you did in 5 years, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
know.
so understand something, everyone. She didn't lose friends. She didn't lose family. Okay. She embraced her spirit.
Yeah, big changes, big changes. I can't, I don't have words to even express the difference I feel. It's just amazing. So if I can do it at my age, you can do it. And what's stopping you, even if you're older? When's a good time to change? When's a good time to start taking care of yourself? That would be now.
The only time that it can't be done is when you've given up. The only time it can't be done is when you believe that you need to be punished.
Yeah.
Okay, let's end the chokehold of punishment, judgment on ourselves. No more judgment, right?
That's right. That's why we've got
Come on.
these love bands, right?
Yeah,
3, 2, 1, there's a new sheriff in town. 3, 2, 1, I am.
I am.
Yes, I am.
Okay, let's get back to rectum. It almost killed them.
Okay, okay. So the next one was constipation. So the medical
Hey,
system,
No,
medical,
go ahead, love.
the medical system says that's having a hard, dry bowel movement.
First of all, guess what? There's a clue there. It's hard and it's dry. And the reality is you ate too much glicky, sticky, dead food and you did not water yourself. And guess what? The digestive tract is also a river and you don't have any flow. And it's hard. So either, there's a few things. When you go to the bathroom and when you have a bowel movement and it hits the water and it splashes up to your bum, we already know it's a rock. When it sinks to the bottom, it's already a rock. There's no oxygen left in it and it's compressed. Did you know a bowel movement about this big used to be, if you drank the water and ate properly, would be this big? And how many people know that your daily bowel movement is called a computer printout? And it shows you how well you did the day before. And that's the truth. If we would just wake up to the fact. Look, parents don't teach their children potty training 101. You should be showing your children. Do you remember yesterday we went out and we ate all that ice cream and we had pizza? Well, that's why your stool is so loose. And that's why you see all the mucus and you see the little bit of blood in your stool. That's what mommy did for you.
Exactly. We've got to come back.
Yeah, we got to come back.
Yeah, exactly. So the medical system says that you're constipated if you are having fewer than one bowel movement a week.
Oh my God. You know what? This is ridiculous. Okay, so Lorraine knows this, that I've got juice here. I drink water. I do my nutraceuticals, but I'll do one blender drink a day, and then I'll have one healthy meal a day, but I'll have 2 to 3 great bowel movements. Where do they come from? Understand something, everybody. They don't even know what they're talking about. Remember, the large intestine is the holy grail. And your doctor knows nothing about health. Your medical doctor knows this much about real health. Okay, if you think that I'm being nasty right now, why don't you go back and watch the front of this? I don't know how long we've been on, an hour. I guarantee you I gave you more health information than you've been given by your doctor your whole life. So don't tell me I'm nasty. Tell me that, guess what? It's nasty the way that we are treated and mistreated, and that we are programmed to believe that we can't heal ourselves, and that they will when they tell us, don't worry, we'll keep an eye on it. We live under your bed. They don't live anywhere near us, and they'll keep an eye on it means we're going to have you come back in 6 months, and if the tumor's grown big enough, we'll cut it out. That's all. Or if the hip has gotten worse, we'll put you in for surgery and then we'll let you be in pain for a year or two while you're waiting in line, unless you want to pay more money to get it. Or you could come to us and we'll tell you right now that when you come to us, we'll guarantee that in the first treatment that we do on you, that you don't have to go to surgery. And if you would just give us a few days to a few weeks, we'll prove that surgery is not needed. And is it needed in some cases? How about 3% of all cases?
And it all started with that pooping in your pelvis. So we've got to look after the front door so the back door is moving at a nice flow.
It's an assembly line, and everybody's got to show up for work.
Exactly. Exactly. So the medical system says causes are diet.
They're absolutely right.
Yeah. Medication.
Oh, they're absolutely right. There's nothing better than to get constipated through medication. Why? Because it causes inflammation, and inflammation causes dehydration. Okay.
Pregnancy.
No, wrong. You know what? If I don't care who the person is, if a woman was on a whole plant-based keto diet and she wasn't constipated going into, and she actually knew what a well-balanced lifestyle was, a perfect day lifestyle, she would never be constipated. And you know that, Lorraine. That's not even true. That's a lie.
This is what the
So listen, ladies, if you never want to be constipated, never get pregnant. Okay?
Doesn't make sense to me. You made changes in your routine.
Oh, that's true. You know, if you fly or if you're in the car too long and you change the routine, because it is like clockwork. And that's why we have the daily cleansing tea. And we have, when we travel, we have the daily cleansing tea caps, and none of this has any stimulants or laxatives in it. So don't think I'm trying to sell it to you. I'm just trying to tell you, if you want to get the cork out of the wine bottle and you want to have a good trip when you get there, if your routine's going to change, you better be doing daily cleansing tea twice a day, or you better at least take a cleansing cap that night before bed. Or how would you like to feel like you've got something stuck up your rectum? Doesn't that make you have a nicer day?
No, no. It also says overuse or misuse of laxatives.
Yeah, but why would you take laxatives? Laxatives go into the body, and the body says this is toxic poison. And what the body does is try to get rid of the laxatives. So it gets rid of the looser stool, but it doesn't get rid of the mucoid, which is the dehydrated poop and mucus mixed together on the linings, which the daily cleansing tea and the daily cleansing caps get rid of, along with the black gold, when you really want to do it right.
Hormonal problems like an underactive thyroid.
Oh, for God's sakes, that is not even true.
That's
You know what? So if you're okay, so if you had an underactive thyroid, there's no such thing as an underactive thyroid. There's such thing as not getting enough iodine. That's it. Every woman, every child, every man needs iodine every day. And believe it or not, everybody, we have the only pure iodine in the world, where even our stage 4 inflammation patients can take 1.5 ounces a day. And if you did that with Lugol's iodine or Nacean iodine, you'd blow their thyroid out. And remember something, infinite iodine will neutralize a virus in 15 seconds, and that's every virus, even the HIV virus. Every virus that's ever been, it can neutralize that, and it dismantles it. It doesn't kill it, because viruses aren't alive.
And their treatment would be change your diet. Increase physical activity. That's
always great. You should do pelvic squats. Okay. Go swimming. Okay. Do movement. If you don't move it, you lose it.
Limit consumption of alcohol, caffeine, and caffeinated drinks.
Yeah, I agree with all of that.
Use a squatty potty so that your knees are raised when you're having a bowel movement.
Okay, or just put a hole in the floor and poop like they do in India.
Yeah.
It's the pelvic squat that you're after, okay? And just remember something, I know it hasn't got a lot to do with it, but make sure that if you live in Canada and you use toilet paper, that you buy organic toilet paper. It's not much more, and you can buy it on Amazon.com and look for organic toilet paper, because guess what? You are putting 4 different cancer-causing chemicals and rubbing it on your anus every time you wipe your butt. And that's no ifs, ands, or buts, okay?
It also says use laxatives.
There you go.
Yeah. Over-the-counter medications, stool softeners, and some kind of lubricant like a mineral oil, stimulants, prescription drugs, and surgery to remove any blockages.
Well, you got to know that, everybody, that surgery causes more scar tissue than anything else. I mean, if you had a blockage and you couldn't poop or you couldn't digest, that could be really dangerous. You might have to get surgery. You could try to get rid of the blockage, but the blockage could be dry fecal matter. It could be a fibroid. It could be some type of growth. It could be an adhesion that's wrapped around and choking your intestine. So, you know, it's good to find out what that is, but understand something. I'm not telling you to come to us if you're in a life-threatening situation, but are you in a life-threatening situation? And if you are, I get it. But even after the surgery, you know, after you heal, no matter what surgery, whether it's on your intestines, it's in your abdomen, it's in your pelvis, it's your shoulder, it's your spine, it doesn't matter where in the body, you're left with scar tissue. That's when you have to go see a Wolf non-surgical therapist. And this is not a promo. I'm telling you, we'll give you a money-back guarantee that, guess what? When we work on you, you can see that scar, especially from cesarean. It can look like light brown, gray, or even black, depending how badly they did and how much they traumatized the tissue. And whether you believe it or not, every cesarean scar will, or any place where there's been surgery, will grow these feeders on, and it will wrap around your joints. It'll wrap around your intestines. It'll wrap around your bladder. It'll wrap around your ovaries. Can cause problems. Even if you had surgery here around your throat, it can actually wrap around your throat. When you've healed, you haven't healed. You get rid of the scar tissue by pulling the fibers apart, introducing the blood flow, the lymph flow, and it goes back to beautiful connective tissue. You wouldn't even see the scar. Did you hear what I said? I see people that have had scars on their face through non-surgical, and by using different things like our DMSO rose cream, by using our C60, and clapping with a clapper, the scar's gone. It's all about regeneration of the cells, everybody. You were created by God Almighty, and you've got to take your power back. I'm not telling you to get rid of your doctor. I'm just trying to tell you that you need to become your own practitioner. You need to become knowledgeable enough to know what logic truly is. Lorraine?
Exactly. Yeah. The next one is colitis. And colitis is inflammation of your colon.
Yeah, well, you can't have that unless you had constipation. But I'm never constipated. No, there's impaction where you don't go. Constipation means it doesn't all come out. And you can't have colitis, which is inflammation of the colon, unless you had infection of the colon. You can't have infection of the colon unless you've had waste stagnating, which is creating the bad bacteria that create the gas that irritate and inflame the lining.
There you go. So it causes discomfort and pain in the abdomen.
I had colitis when I was younger, really bad. Sometimes I'd be walking around and it would cripple me right over. And you know what? It was part of my personality, you know, and I didn't realize that. My brothers ate the same thing. My younger brother was constipated. He had trouble growing, but he never ever buckled over because of colitis. You know, I even had blood in my stool, you know. When I hitchhiked to Gary, Indiana when I was 19 years old. and to become a colon therapist. And when I hitchhiked there, I still had blood in my stool. You know, so that's what drove me to want to do that. Plus that, and my grandfather having colon cancer.
So it says that there's 3 common types: ulcerated colitis.
Well, just like we talked about, you know, the bacteria eats holes in the intestine, just like an ulcer in your stomach, you can have an ulcer in your large intestine. And I mean, guys, there is no diseases. It's all the same condition everywhere in the body, but at least they gave it names. Now we know where it is, location wise, but it's not a disease. It is a signal from your body that you don't know what the heck you're doing. Okay, or pooing. You don't know what the heck you're pooing.
Yeah. The next one is a big long name, Physioderma branis. I don't know, colitis. It's a big
I think that would be just
growth of bacterium.
Yeah, scar tissue. Okay, all right.
And then the last one is blood clots. It's due to blood clots, it says.
Yeah, well, what you're going to get is you're going to get ulcerative colitis, and then you're going to get ulcerative bleeding colitis, and that's where the blood clots come in. Okay, because now you're just not having ulcers, but the ulcers are going so deep it's getting into the vascular system, and now you're bleeding out.
Can be caused by diabetes.
That's not true. Diabetes is, well, what it's caused from is too much sugar in the bowel.
Okay.
Too much sugar in the bowel, too much dairy in the bowel, too much dead animals that you're unable to actually digest and break down, because now they're let me see here, decomposing, and they're decomposing. They're not digesting, they're decomposing. So you better make sure that if you're going to eat animal products, that you drink your solids and chew your liquids. Okay.
It can be caused by colon cancer.
Well, no doubt, eh?
Dehydration.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, of course. But that's stagnation. They didn't want to say that. It's stagnation of waste. Dehydration doesn't cause colitis. It's not enough water to get the logs into the toilet. Okay.
Flowing down the river properly. Yeah. It also says blood loss.
Well, you're going to get the blood loss from the colitis. Blood loss doesn't cause the colitis.
And heart failure.
Well, yeah. Okay. Because you just drained yourself. People that have colitis usually have a lot of diarrhea too, you know. So if you're losing a lot of electrolytes, okay, that's electricity and minerals, your heart's not going to function right. Right? Do you ever have electrolyte loss? Okay. Well, you feel faint. And understand something. If you're not getting enough electricity and minerals, what does the heart work on? Minerals and electricity. So from fart attack to heart attack, eh?
Exactly. What else do we need to know about this? Additional causes, risks. Nope, that's fine. Symptoms, kind of went over that. Abdominal pain and cramping, bloating, unexpected weight loss, diarrhea without blood, blood in your stool, urgent need to move the
My
bowel.
God, all of this is because the highway of health, you don't know how to travel it. And the reality is, everyone, go to my library and take a look and watch The Highway of Health. And I explain from your mouth to your rectum, don't I, Lorraine? And
Yes.
then go watch also Holy Crap, the Holy Grail. Okay? Those 2 videos will nail it. And then if there's anybody that really wants to come on with me and talk about or challenge me, I'm open. I'm always willing to learn.
Okay, so treatment, it says bowel rest. It says limiting what you consume by mouth.
Okay, so I would agree, because guess what? What you want to do is have things that are pre-digested. So no work for the large intestine. So if you wanted to take your large intestine on a holiday, right? What would you actually do for it? Okay, you could do a water fast. You could do watermelon. Why wouldn't you just give the person, eat all the watermelon you want? That's not going to give them diarrhea. It's going to put water in them. The watermelon has fiber. The watermelon has sugar. So now there's not going to be any weight loss. Just like people when they go on our advanced water fast, if they're underweight, maybe this time we put them on the advanced water fast, but we don't do the water fast in the morning, okay, and in the afternoon, okay? We let them eat as much watermelon as they want or blend it and drink it. Because that natural sugar, if you're underweight, the glucose, that is a beautiful glucose. Even if a person has stage 4 inflammation, that will not go into the cancer cells. That will only go into the normal cells. So, everybody out there, I could never do an advanced water fast. Well, that's why we have Lorraine and other practitioners that you can actually get a consultation. And right now they're on sale. How about getting a consultation for an advanced water fast and what you should do after that? And it's going to cost you $100. And then you get lifetime telephone support from us, or ongoing support from us. And I mean, what's that worth to you? And also download the pdgfree.com guide. Right, Lorraine?
Exactly.
About $100, everybody. Seriously. I actually have people that wait until this is $100, and we only charge $150 because we understand that, money is tight for people that believe money's tight. Okay, get it. You can't change people's beliefs. And understand something, whether you want to believe this or not. Most of the world has poverty consciousness, so they're going to be that way. And the reality is, if you found your passion and your purpose and you really put your heart into it, and money wasn't your biggest thought, because, people that money is their biggest thought, to make money first and foremost, they might make a lot, but it'll kill them. They'll be exhausted. They'll wear themselves out, burn themselves out. And then people that believe that money's hard to make and they have poverty consciousness, that'll burn them out too, and they'll never have any. So you've got those two different, your beliefs are everything, everyone. It's the signals you put out to everybody else, and it's the signals you put out to the universe that you just get back what you've been putting out. I mean, you put an order in. You know what? If I go to a restaurant and I put an order in, do you think that if I put an order in, I'm going to get what I order? Okay? All right? And you may not like it. So you better shut your mouth. Shut down your mind if it's a landmine, and you better start creating new beliefs. The opposite of what you're thinking. If you want the opposite of the way your life is now, then you better have opposite belief systems coming in, and they better be the prominent dominant beliefs. What do you think, Lorraine?
That's right. Our prominent dominant belief dictates our overall health all the time, every time.
What do you think, Lorraine? Do you think maybe we should do a part 2? But we can't.
Have to.
Yeah. So we'll do a part 2. And but tomorrow Tomorrow we'll be on at 1:00, guys, and that'll be a 4.5 hour marathon, eh?
It will be.
But it'll be well worth it. If you want us to bring the thunder down for you, and you want to become more intelligent than the practitioner or the doctor you're seeing now, I'm telling you the truth, okay? You can say, oh, who does he think he is? Well, I'm the guy that tells you that you went to school for how long and you don't know anything about real health. Because if you did, you would be your practitioner, you would be the healer, and you would know that. You would know it. It's all about self-healing. So we'll be back here tomorrow at 1:00, and Lorraine and I, let's say we do it in 12 days to 14 days from now, we'll do part 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll call this one number 1, and then we'll go do number 2. Okay. All right.
By then we'll all be ready to go number 2.
That's it. And we'll know how to do it. And,
Yeah.
and guess what? And you need to teach it to your family and understand something. It's a computer printout. Okay. So anyways, everyone, we are going to be, we've got 2 more courses here in Florida. I start mine tomorrow, which is a whole life coach course. And we've got a big class for that. And then Lorraine's got 4 more spaces in hers, and Dr. Sage Wolf has 3 in his. Dr. Sage Wolf's course, you know when his is, Lorraine? Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, yeah. No, that's Australia. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry, everyone. Okay, no, I can't find it. So anyways, my course starts tomorrow. It runs for 9 days. There's 1 day off, and then Wolf Non-Surgical starts with Dr. Sage Wolf. It goes for 12 days. This is the most powerful body work. We'll give you a 3-day money-back guarantee. That it doesn't matter if you're already a body work professional, you're already a health professional. We'll give you 3-day money-back guarantee. That there is nothing more powerful than this work, from pulling a fibroid together to reversing a full frozen shoulder, okay, to releasing a frozen hip, to somebody that feels like they've got to go for spinal surgery, or that they've got a slip disc, or that they have to go get their spine fused. Gosh, give your body a chance first, okay? Really just give your body a chance. Check into our work at braveheartnation.com. or bhnuniversity.com. And then when Sage finishes, Dr. Sage finishes in 12 days, then Lorraine comes on and 1 day later. And why don't you tell them what you're doing, Lorraine?
I'm doing the Pelvic Restoration and Disease Prevention Masterclass for women only. I mean, most of us women have a real huge disconnect to the pelvic area. And, most women, 100% of women have had a problem in their pelvis. 100%. We're not missing anybody. So we've really got to come back to honoring and bringing that beautiful energy back to the pelvic area and helping it to strengthen and tone and detoxify, and really bringing that energy that is created in the pelvic area to come up and actually start healing the rest of the body. Because our pelvis, our womb, and our vaginal canal are the deciding factor to our health. So if we've got problems in that pelvic area, we've got to come back to taking massive personal action, get to know your holy grail for healing, that vaginal canal, learn how to strengthen and tone. We do yin yoga, we do meditations, we do a womb healing meditation, we do breath work, we do exercises, we do the DACA detox squats, we talk about the 4 pillars of the perfect day, because we have to come at this from all angles. We do healing circles every single day. And you got to understand, when a group of women come together to do the same thing, that energy expands because we're there together. And, we, as women, we need that sisterhood. We need to connect to other women and pull information as much as we can to understand how beautiful and how wonderfully these bodies are made. This is where life was brought into this world. This is the most powerful healing area of our body, and we're disconnected. So come and get
whether it's a man or a woman, it is. But right now, if we were to hold a men's class, nobody would show up.
Exactly. Yeah. But at least we've got the women coming.
Yes, and then guess what? They are the influencers. Okay, and if you take a look here, everyone. We'll be doing the whole life health coach certified, Wolf non-surgical certified pelvic restoration and disease prevention for women here in Stewart, where we are now. But then we're going to Coffs Harbour, and I kick it off August the 7th. And then we do all of these courses in Coffs Harbour. And then we do it again in Ixtapa, Mexico, October 17th. And then we're going to be in Kelowna, British Columbia in March. We're also going to be in Texas, Pilot Point, Texas, okay, in around the same time as that, all right? And just so you know, we're doing another course in February in Ixtapa as well, okay? We will be changing all these and having the slides changed up. So here we go, Coffs Harbour, if you're interested, anybody, please call Tora Klein at 610-413-993-493, and that's the courses in August, right? Ixtapa, Mexico, you can just call our 800 number and then extension 5 or 469-861-8884. That is a USA Direct number. You can call it on WhatsApp, okay? And then for Kelowna, British Columbia, the same numbers. But like I said, we'll be doing our first course in Pilot Point, Texas, also in around March area. We'll have all those dates for you next time Lorraine and I are on. And let's see here. Here's the pricing if everybody wants to take a look at it. Our courses are not expensive. We actually dropped our courses in the last year because people have had the financials kicked out of them. And we want people to still live their dream. And we just know this, you get lifetime support from us. You get live Q&As every week. You can call me personally after a course. Everybody gets a call back. Whether it's Lorraine's course for her, mine, Dr. Sage Wolf, we're here for you. We also have marketing and training for you free. We also will do your websites for you at cost. Okay, everybody will get our products at wholesale. Everyone can take our library, okay, and take our whole store and put it up on their website. If I told you the pricing to build your own website, you wouldn't believe it. Just know we're here for you. We are creating a Braveheart Nation, and I'm coming out with the Braveheart Nation app in August the 8th. And it is the biggest health app that was ever built so far to date that I've been told. And we're also creating a 35 by 60 foot studio that will have 5 sets in it so that we can have world healing health leaders from all over the world come to our studio to create their own master classes. We'll have our own app. Okay, it's called Braveheart Nation True Vision TV network. And we will be able to have all of the people on that are the people that are so dangerous to the world. And they'll be having their own show on my show. And understand something, it's my platform. Nobody can kick us off. So please watch for it. It's called Braveheart Nation app, and it's coming out. And if you want information that you can't get anywhere else, go to Braveheart Nation right now on Telegram. All the videos I can't post anywhere else, I post them on Braveheart Nation Telegram. Okay? All right? And I'm doing a day with the doc in Toronto, Canada. If you have any relatives in Toronto, okay, this is the last lecture that I'm doing this year. It'll be in Toronto, and that lecture is taking place. Let me see here. It'd be great if I could find it. On the 23rd.
23rd. June
On the
23rd.
23rd. It's on the 23rd of this month, right?
Yeah,
And it's a whole day. It's from 10 until 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I mean, if you want to learn how to do the perfect day and you want to actually heal yourself and your family and actually go, oh yeah, I can sink my teeth into this. Okay. It's logical. Anybody can do what we do. Anybody can learn what we know. Isn't that the truth, Lorraine? Anybody can learn this. Anybody can become this. Okay. So Stewart, Florida, the pelvic restoration is on June the 25th, right?
Yep.
And that's the lecture.
That's the lecture, yeah.
At 6 o'clock until 9 o'clock with Lorraine, okay? And it's at the First Presbyterian Church, everyone. Like if you want information, go to braveheartnation.com or bhnuniversity.com. All our trainings, our certifications, and our lectures are there. Okay. And look at this. I'm doing basically, you can take a look at it if you want, but I'm doing a tour. All right. Around Australia. I'll be in Sydney lecturing, Melbourne lecturing. I'll be in Brisbane lecturing. I'll also be in Byron Bay. Ready? Here we go. Oh, no, wait. What happened there?
Wrong way.
Wrong way. No.
Good way. Yeah.
Nope, not. They doubled them. Who can you trust? Okay, let me see here.
That's the one you just talked about.
Okay, here we go. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to be in Byron Bay and then I'll be in Coffs Harbour. So I just did a whole tour of Australia, everybody. And these are either night lectures or they're called Day with the Doc, okay? And then in Coffs Harbour, I'll do the Whole Life Coach starting on August the 7th to the 15th. Wolf Non-Surgical on, we'll start on the 17th to the 28th. And then Lorraine will take over from August the 30th until September the 1st, okay? And this is that Sanctuary Resort. It is such a beautiful place. Please check it out. It might be time to come and take a holiday and fulfill your passion and purpose. Heal yourself, learn how to heal yourself and your family. Or maybe you want to become a practitioner, or maybe you're a practitioner and you want to bring on your game, because I'm giving you a 3-day money-back guarantee on the Whole Life Coach and the Wolf Non-Surgical that will bring the thunder down. And I will give you a challenge. Whether you've been practicing for 10 years or 30 years, we're going to make sure we bring your game up. Okay? All right. So together, we are stronger. And that's why we are called Braveheart Nation. And we're going to keep on doing things. Like we do have the largest self-help, self-care library in the world, with more master classes, from emotional master classes to nutritional master classes to do it yourself, everything, internally, externally. Go in there and feast on it, okay? And these are the 2025 courses if you want to take a snapshot, everyone. Okay? Extapa, which is happening January the 29th. Okay? March in Kelowna, British Columbia. April will be in Pilot Point, Texas. And then we'll be back in Extapa again, April the 30th. Okay? With all the courses. And then Extapa again in October of next year. And the reason why we're doing more here is because guess what? Mexico has been noted as being one of the freest countries in the world. Okay? And the reality is, where we live in Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo, Mexico, it is one of the most beautiful places you'll ever go to. It's friendly, it's small, it's safe, it's clean, it's all of those things, isn't it, Lorraine?
Absolutely. It's an amazing place. You can walk anywhere from wherever you're staying. The beach is right there. The locals have their own little restaurants, so it's mom and pop restaurants. And they do.
There's no chains. There's no chain restaurants.
Yeah. And they do cater to what you want. So you just have to ask them, this is the diet I'm eating. Can you provide that for me? And they will, because they're more than happy to do that.
And understand, everyone, this is where the course will happen. It's called DOD 5-Star Healing and Training Retreat. This is our retreat here. Okay, we've got a saltwater structured pool. We've got 3 bedrooms in here. This is the training center in here, in this area here. We're right in the jungle, as you can tell. And we're only about, we're 5 minutes from the beach. We're 5 minutes from the most beautiful restaurants. Walking around this area, there's a golf course only 2 minutes away from me. Okay, so it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's in Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo. You would fly into Zihuatanejo. It is an international airport. During the holiday season, for people, you can get direct flights from pretty well everywhere. But when you don't, you fly to Mexico City, then into us. And what we do here is this is booked year-round. When we're not doing courses, we have personal treatment and trainings where couples come, families come. where people come that haven't been able to be helped by other people. They will come and stay anywhere from 10 days to 6 weeks. That's right. And we have the most advanced energy medicine treatments, Wolf non-surgical. We have a cardio med bed. We have the Cellsonic. We have the Biotron. Okay. We have the most advanced red light therapy system. Okay. I could keep going, but the reality is if you want to go to DOD5star.com, you can look that up if you want and then see what you think. All right. And just know this, Dr. Sage Wolf, he will travel anywhere around the world, and he does it now. He goes to clinics and teaches practitioners Wolf non-surgical when they don't want to get certified and come to us. He just went 2 months ago and did a clinic of 4 practitioners, and he certified them. He also goes around and he went to India, a family of 8, and taught the whole family how to do Wolf non-surgical. So he'll go anywhere around the world, or like I said, you can come to us at DOD 5-star. You can check that out again at DOD5star.com, okay? And yes, we're in Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo. That's our main location. But we have also a clinic and an office in Kelowna, British Columbia. And we have another one in Pilot Point, Texas. We have a fulfillment center there. And we have a master practitioner working out of there just 10 minutes away from our fulfillment center. And then we've got Lorraine in Calgary, Alberta. And Lorraine has a Cellsonic, and she's got a cardio med bed on the way. Right,
Yay.
Lorraine? You want to tell everyone?
Yeah, you bet. So we are definitely the Power Pack Clinic. And when you can use these energy medicine devices to encourage the body to make the changes that it needs to do, it's a world of difference. It's a world of difference. I mean, anybody who's got any troubles with their veins and arteries, their heart, the cardio med bed, but it does way more than that, because when
Cellulite, fat,
yeah.
impotence, it will people that supposedly need heart surgery, okay, 35 to 37 hours later on this bed. Okay, all right. So, you know, you can go to Calgary, Alberta, or you can come to Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo.
Exactly. And what a beautiful thing to be doing for your body to help it along its way.
And if you want to know more about people who have this equipment, go to bhnpowerpack.com, because we have other therapists all around the world. Okay. We've got 7 therapists in Australia that have cardio beds. Tora Klein has a Cellsonic. Andrea in Melbourne has a Cellsonic. Tora Klein up in Coffs Harbour has a Cellsonic. So guess what? Check out bhnpowerpack.com. And just know this, gentle baby steps. If you were to raise your vibration 1% every day, where would you be in 100 days? Lorraine, how would you like to finish today?
Well, we could do the Braveheart Oath. Yeah.
Okay.
So I see it's right back there. So I am love, I'm healed, I'm Braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will always trust, honor, respect, protect, forgive, and totally love myself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God, because I am, I can, I am love, I am healed, I am Braveheart.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. And just know we will be back for number 2, right?
That's right. We'll be
Just
back.
had number 1, and what a relief. 3, 2, 1.
We got this.
We got this, Bravehearts. God bless. How we doing, Rafa? Did we wrap it up?